And so anytime something's annoying you or bothering you, rubbing you the wrong way, even if you don't have to believe like any of the other stuff, just compare it to what is likely going to be going on in your mental chatter, where you're just going to be making the situation worse in your head, creating more frustration, more annoyance, more sadness. If you compare it at that very simple level of what mental chatter, isn't it better to be having mental chatter of being apologetic, of forgiveness, of love, of gratitude? Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to a special holiday edition of the program. We're going to be covering holiday happiness made simple. So when Santa's sack is maybe filled with soot instead of those sultry, sensuous, I don't know, super good gifts that you actually want, I'm going to be teaching and going over a wonderful, easy technique that's going to just turn that frown upside down and make everything merry and fantastic and all those things from It's a Wonderful Life, or at least not as Grinchy, awful, more like the end of The Grinch That Stole Christmas, or be like all of the movie Elf, whatever your favorite holiday thing is. So I'm going to be going over, maybe some common challenges that you often have. Then I'm going to be talking about this technique that I've covered before. It's actually one of the favorite episodes that people continue to find and download even a couple of years later. So that's why I want to refresh it and bring it back for this very, very important time of year, which is, I think, incredibly powerful. Can be joyful, but let's face it, for many people, there ends up being like way more stress. Even if there's time off of work, it becomes more work just with the people that aren't trained how to deal with you in a way that is professional or polite or sometimes even kind. So that's what we're going to be going over. And I'm going to end this episode. So make sure you pay close attention through the whole thing, because at the very end, I'm going to guide you through a practice. So you're going to be feeling good and having some good things going, and you're going to really know how to use this in your life. So the technique is called Ho'oponopono, and I'm going to talk about the technique in just a little bit, but because when this is coming out, this is actually a little bit of my gift to you, because otherwise I would have been scheduling a podcast to drop on New Year's Eve, but instead this is going to be coming Christmas Eve, so it's coming 1 week early. So I'm Santa, who's Johnny on the spot, that's got his sack filled with all the goodies, ready to spray it all over the good boys and girls, which you are. You've been a delightfully good listener, and because of that, I'm gonna bring this to you. And as always, if you could like, subscribe, rate, review, all that stuff. That really puts a little jolly into old Saint Justin's stocking, if you know what I mean. Boy, I'm a bit of a blowhard here with some of the terminology and saying a bit too much. But hey, it's Christmas. Sometimes you just have too much. You're just bursting out, and you just spread it all over, and you just can't help yourself. And so I'm here, and I'm spreading, and hopefully you'll be spreading whatever it is you want to spread very soon. So again, you don't have the stability maybe of work. So now there's kids involved. Maybe they're not even your kids. And then there's in-laws or other family members. And then you could be in a situation that's similar to me, is maybe you don't even have anyone that you have to do. And so it's like, what do you do? Who do you spend time with? Yourself, with friends, or do you go travel somewhere? So there's all these decisions or all these obligations. And then when you are with people, there's the worries of, are you going to say the right thing or the wrong thing? Or maybe you're good. You've been listening to this show. You know how to communicate with people, but let's face it, some people, they still got PTSD from the election, or maybe they're gloating because of the election. Whatever it is, you don't want to talk politics, but these people that you're spending time with, they can't help themselves, or they can't help themselves because they are a literal child and they're vomiting actual vomit or other stuff. There's all these things going on. It can be stressful, and it can make you, well, just want to shake, shake the baby. But you're not supposed to shake the baby, or other people or anybody. Just shake presents. You want to shake the presents, but not too hard, because there could be something delicate in there, like a puppy. Oh, you didn't do that, did you? Where you shook the puppy and then the puppy It was, I don't want to have a Christmas like that ever again. And I don't want you either. So, and then there's the financial stress, right? Think of all the money that gets spent, whether you're traveling or just buying gifts or the meals and all these things. So money could be a pressure, right? And then there's the disparity between who has how much and not enough, and how much do you spend and how much do you receive. Are you getting good gifts for people? Oh, it can just be so stressful this time of year. And then you're getting ready for the next year and thinking about maybe New Year's resolutions. There's just a lot of stressors. Other people are stressed, and so they're going to be acting out. And so maybe the traffic people are a little bit more rude in traffic. Maybe the people are a little bit rude or short, when you're on the phone or through text message. Or that's the other thing, text messaging. There's so many ways to interpret. Somebody sends something and it's just like, it's just like, well, are you okay? There's a recent episode that we just put out on YouTube about asking, are you okay? And depending on what state you're in, you might be like, what, they think there's something wrong with me? You think there's something wrong with me? I'll show them who's got something wrong with. I'm gonna fucking show this person what's what. But really, that's not how that was intended. It was just like, hey, everything okay? I love you, buddy. And if they'd said it that way, you'd be like, oh, all right, buddy. I'm doing good, buddy. How you doing, buddy? Brody, Brody, buddy. But you can't tell that over text. And so this technique that I'm going to talk about and guide you through, Ho'oponopono, or Ho'oponopono. We'll festive it up with a little Santa humor. So what is Ho'oponopono? It's an ancient Hawaiian clearing technique, and it really became popularized by this doctor, Dr. Hew Len. And basically, the story that I've heard is he used to work at it was an institution in Hawaii on one of the islands for the criminally insane. Maybe I'm confusing Batman's Arkham Asylum, but a place where they have mental health challenges and they've done something criminal. And when he got there, it was rough. Like it was just like staff could not hang at this place. They would quit. The people that are incarcerated there or involuntarily kept there, they can't leave. But nobody gets better, and the people that are working there, they're just feeling worse. And it was just a shit show. Just the worst thing. This would be the Grinch's most delight, right? Just like, oh yeah, all the unhappiness, all the misery. Yeah, like, oh, beginning of Grinch Who Stole Christmas. This would have been the ideal Whoville. This wasn't Whoville. This was Hawaii. It's supposed to be paradise. And so Dr. Hew Len shows up. The people that ran this are at their wits' end, and he's just like, "Hey, you let me run this the way I want to run this." They go, "All right, fine. How do you want to run this?" He's like, "I am going to go sit in an office and I'm going to review case files and do Ho'oponopono, and that'll be all. That's all I'm going to do, and it's gonna be great." And this might sound like a comedy bit from who was that? Who's that comedian? Bob Newhart. There's a great video of him doing a skit where he's a therapist. It's $5 for a session. I don't make change and I don't give refunds, and you pay in advance. And some of you might have seen this. Maybe I'll find a way to get this posted, or but you can look at. But it is, the woman who came in and wanted the session with therapist Newhart pays the $5, and she explains that her issue is she's worried about being buried alive, and to which he just replies, stop it," and that's all he does is he just yells, "Stop it." To her. But the Ho'oponopono is a lot kinder, a lot gentle, and actually a lot more effective. But they're like, there's no way this is going to work. But yeah, he didn't see patients other than just going to his office and from his office. He didn't really talk or interact to anyone. But strangely, over the course of a few weeks, things just started getting better at this facility. Like there were less violent interactions among patients and with the staff. It became more enjoyable for the staff to get there. There started being progress for the inmates, the patients as well. Like they would be getting better valuations and things like that. And this was just all because he was doing Ho'oponopono by reviewing the case files. You'd like open up a case file, like, patient, uh, came from highly abusive background and then violently did this and that and the other thing, and just all this horrible. And he would just do the Ho'oponopono practice, the clearing statements. And I'm going to be getting to what those are here in just a little bit. And it was so powerful yet so simple that eventually they ended up having to close this facility down because the people that were there was no longer a medical reason to keep them there anymore. That's how powerful and successful Dr. Hew Len's use of the Ho'oponopono technique was in this story. And he's since gone to teach this, popularize this, and there's many other people. So I'm not the only one who knows about this, and I don't want to be the only one. I want everybody to have this tool because it's a clearing statement. And so basically, the theory is that when there's something that shows up in our life that causes discomfort, challenge, that means there's kind of like something stuck, something that we've been holding on to, just something that we've brought along, because there's also this concept of being 100% responsible for our lives. And Ho'oponopono kind of requires that being radically responsible for your life, that everything that comes into your life, everything that comes into my life, I'm responsible for my experience, you're responsible for your experience. I've talked about this on the show many, many times. Just I experience something, whether it's I'm reading a story or something happens to me, I'm responsible. It's something about me has brought it in. And we've talked about some other shows how that can possibly be true. You don't necessarily have to believe that or not, yet if you do, it's going to make it a little bit easier. But if not, you can still use the technique and it's still going to do amazing, incredible things for you. And but so it's basically taking responsibility and go like, oh, I'm coming across, this violent person, this sadistic whatever, like, oh, there's something inside of me that needs clearing, that needs to let go of that, let it go, just go out and let it be cleansed. Kind of like, when you have your washing machine, if you don't put something in the washing machine, it's going to be sticky and gross and nasty. But if you let it go in the washing machine will do what it does, and you get back something very beautiful, cleanly, enjoyable, right? This is kind of how Ho'oponopono works, is you're just kind of saying like, okay, this is something that apparently I didn't know was here. Something needs a little bit cleansing. So let's let it go into the universal washing machine. And then usually what comes back is going to be much more joyful, happy, and great. And you want happier holiday time, right? So this is a great time because there's going to be so much stuff coming up that you have this opportunity to use this clearing statement to let that go into the universal washing machine. And then what's going to come back is going to be amazing, fun, joyful, happier feelings and things like that. And so it really is, it's just these four simple statements. And as far as I know, the order doesn't matter. So the order I usually say them in is, I'm sorry, I love you, I thank you, please forgive me. Now, these are kind of being just said to that universal washing machine. Like if somebody's pissing you off, you don't have to be saying this to that other person, because you might be like, they're the one that fucking voted that way. They're the asshole. I'm the one that's right. Like, why should I apologize to them? You're not apologizing to them. You're not asking them for, and I would say you don't say this out loud. This is in your mental chatter, which means you can be saying this anytime, all the time. I'm sorry. I love you. I thank you. Please forgive me. So it's basically you're kind of like saying this because it's like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize that I kind of had something at issue with what's happening in my experience right now. I didn't realize I had an issue with somebody, with differing politics or differing religion. I didn't realize that I had a pain in my shoulder. I now have the awareness. So it's kind of saying like, I'm sorry, but then I love you. Thank you. I love you. You're amazing. Global washing machine spirit, whatever is beyond me. I love you for bringing this to my attention. Um, thank you. Thank you again for now this can be done. It's like if I spilled something on my shirt, someone comes and goes like, hey, you got some mustard, and you're like, well, ha ha ha, funny, you did the finger up the nose thing. But you're ultimately thankful that somebody pointed something out that was, not working for you, it was unclean or just not what you desired. And now you have the opportunity to do something about it. Like, that's fucking cool. That's cool. So whatever you want to call it that brought that to your attention, you're just acknowledge that. And then, hey, forgive me for not noticing sooner, and it's a little bit, whatever this power, But it's also, it could be you, the highest, most sage-like part of you asking for forgiveness from that part of you too. So there's a lot of ways you can kind of view this, but really all that matters is that you say the four statements. I'm sorry, I love you, I thank you, please forgive me. And so anytime something's annoying you or bothering you, rubbing you the wrong way, I'm sorry, I love you, I thank you, please forgive me. And what's really, really cool is you could do this, and even if you don't have to believe like any of the other stuff, just compare it to what is likely going to be going on in your mental chatter, where you're just going to be making the situation worse in your head, creating more frustration, more annoyance, more sadness, more blah, right? So just if you compare it at that very simple level of what mental chatter, isn't it better to be having mental chatter of being apologetic, being, of forgiveness, of love, of gratitude? So it really, it's hitting a whole lot of things that it's just going to be bringing you up in your mental chatter, and this mental chatter is going to be bringing up your emotional feelings as well. And if you're feeling better and you're having more positive thoughts, then around you, people are also going to like pick up on that and be a little bit more happier to be around you and enjoying being around you. And they're probably going to behave a little bit more happy, fun, joyful way. So you're kind of starting to get how this can work really, really easily and really, really well. And if there's some extra ancient Hawaiian magic that happens on top of that, like great, fantastic, free magic, right? Um, I'm a big fan of, if there's something extra, bring it to me. Bring on the extra good stuff, right? Like you're at a restaurant and it was a great meal, and then the waiter just goes like, "Oh, we just want to do. We're just so happy to have you in. Here's a free dessert." And you're just like, "Fuck yeah, this is fantastic." That's what this can be like. There could be free dessert, like even the base, even just the appetizer. It's gonna be so delicious, so amazing, so wonderful. And it can just get even better. So I encourage you to try it. I'm going to lead you through a practice here. It's just going to last 5 minutes, and that's going to be at the very, very, very end of the show. And I'm also going to make sure that that ends up being its own separate standalone thing, so that if you don't want all this, but you just want me guiding you through Ho'oponopono, it's great. It's just something you just put on. You can say it along with me. So you get a few repetitions, because it's one of those, like, maybe you're gonna forget one of the words, but trust me, it's so good. I do this for when I'm driving in the car, or when I'm sitting hearing people say something dumb or something annoying. I also do this when when my body hurts, if I'm foam rolling, or if I do yoga. I've even taught Ho'oponopono yoga. It's great for just anything that I would say that there's like discomfort. That's you're acknowledging it, you're recognizing it, you're taking responsibility, and then you're saying these four statements. I'm sorry, I love you, I thank you, please forgive me, to clear out whatever created it, whatever caused it, to allow something new to kind of come into place. Um, is it magic like instant? Not always. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it is. Not always. Yet I will tell you that if you practice this consistently over time, you will absolutely start to notice your life getting happier and more joyful. And so if you start practicing this today, by the time you get to, if you're watching this, listening to this when it comes out, right before Christmas, you do this till New Year, your New Year is already going to be off to a much better start. But whenever you're watching or listening to this, if you do it, and you do it for at least 21 days, as often as you can remember, it's going to be awesome. So I'd love to hear how this has worked for you, or what you would want this to work on. Because tell me in the comments, send an email right at the end of the show. Be ways to let you know how to let me know. But if you tell me, no, Justin, I can't wait to use Ho'oponopono when I'm with Uncle so and so, or I've got to, look at my credit card statement come January 19th, or whenever your holiday shopping credit card comes bill, whatever it is, let me know, because that's going to help you to actually do it. And then, also let me know how it is when you do it. So with that, I'm going to end the show, and then after the show is going to be the practice, the guided practice. So thank you so much. Let me know how you're going to be using this, what you'd like to use it on, and how things have been, and wishing you a very Very happy new year. It's been a great 2024. There's been a lot of challenges in my life, yet also even more joys. And I'm so happy to have had the opportunity to share them with you on the show. And I was thirsty, so I just had to have a little drink of LaCroix, which um, if they would like to sponsor, I'm very open to that. I'd love to thank Christine, who edits, produces this podcast. It's made my life so much easier. Does the social media for all this. So all the clips, the highlights, the posts, all that, all goes thanks to Christine. So if you've been loving how this is produced and gotten out there, let Christine know. Say, Christine, thanks so much for putting out a great quality show. Anything you don't like about the show, so that's my fault. Let me know and I'll do better. I'll do if it makes sense. You might have a bad idea and it might be nonsense. Then I'm just gonna do thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. In my head, because I do Ho'oponopono as often as I remember. So with that, thank you, and stick around for the practice coming up. And good day. Thanks for tuning in to Engineering Emotions and Energy with Justin Wenck, Ph.D. Today's episode resonated with you? Please subscribe and leave a 5-star review. Your feedback not only supports the show, but also helps others find us and start their journey of emotional and energetic mastery. You can also help by sharing this podcast with someone you think will love it just as much as you do. Together, we're engineering more amazing lives. I'm sorry. I love you. I thank you. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. I love you. I thank you. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. I love you. I thank you. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. I love you. I thank you. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. I love you. I thank you. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. I love you. I thank you. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. I love you. I thank you. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. I love you. I thank you. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. I love you. I thank you. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. I love you. I thank you. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. I love you. I thank you. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. I love you. I thank you. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. I love you. I thank you. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. I love you. I thank you. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. I love you. I thank you. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. I love you. I thank you. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. I love you. I thank you. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. I love you. I thank you. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. I love you. I thank you. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. I love you. I thank you. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. I love you. I thank you. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. I love you. I thank you. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. I love you. I thank you. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. I love you. I thank you. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. I love you. I thank you. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. I love you. I thank you. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. I love you. I thank you. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. I love you. I thank you. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. I love you. I thank you. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. I love you. I thank you. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. I love you. I thank you. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. I love you. I thank you. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. I love you. I thank you. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. I love you. I thank you. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. I love you. I thank you. Please forgive me.